I read a book by Ghita Mehta called Karma Cola. I think it was published in the early 70s. Very well written, very interesting shit about the spiritual tourism industry in India. Now, I don't know what it is, what it was, but, and I'm sure it's going on now too. There's just so many people in the world that are lost, and the religion they grew up with, if they grew up with one at all, it didn't satisfy. In my case, I started in the Baptist church, and then I went to the Church of Christ because all my friends were going there. And then by the end of high school, I didn't believe what they were telling me anymore, and I lost my faith. And about the time I lost my faith, I discovered sex and alcohol. And I got carried away in the lifestyle of using. Uh, and I didn't want to lose my faith. It just happened. It didn't communicate to my spirit anymore. And then, when I read that book, I realized, man, that if I'd gone to India to some ashram and sucked up to some guru, I could have really gotten in trouble because people lose themselves. How do you find yourself? In my case, it took decades of being in the world and going through things and, getting some information, applying some stuff. I mean, the most helpful thing I ever did was go to Outpatient and find out, some basic life coping skills. I'd never been taught that. I don't think my parents knew. Shit, what did my parents know? First of all, I never saw my mother. But what did my dad know? My dad knew how to go to work, make the money, and bring it home. He tried to teach me construction. I didn't care. I still don't care. It's not what I'm into. And he didn't, he was just all about his work. So, they didn't know anything. And I didn't learn basics. But anyway, when you're looking for your spirit, when you're looking for some direction, I mean, man, I went to the black church, I went to the Mexican Catholic church, didn't understand anything. That was kind of a waste of time. I've been to some of these mega churches, like I went to one in Georgia. It was like a Broadway musical. I couldn't believe all the shit that was going on. And it didn't really communicate to me, man. I just, waving your hands in the air and all that. I ain't feeling it like that. So, I found, man, that when I'm alone with nature and the books that I like to read, the literature, that's enough for me. I can come up with my own ideas about stuff, decide how I feel about stuff. But you can get real distracted with the aliens and the pyramids and magic mushrooms, man, and just smoke a little herb, man, and next thing you know, you're intoxicated for 20 years. And in my case, I make a joke about it. I took a hit of marijuana and I didn't get off the couch for 19 years. Now, that's pretty true. I mean, I couldn't, I was hopelessly hooked on tetrahydrocannabinol. I don't know what it was about marijuana, but the high that I got from smoking weed took me where I needed to go. It lifted me where I needed to be lifted. It settled me down where I needed to be settled down. But the shit was so powerful that even when I didn't want to smoke it no more, I had to. And that is, now we're in the realm of addiction, and, you got a real problem. And if I had gotten hooked on stuff in high school, or if I'd gone, I mean, like I went to Korea and I got, addicted to alcohol, and then I was buying weed from this weird dude, and I found a Korean psychiatrist to prescribe me Ritalin, so I'd take Ritalin and I'd take 10 milligrams of Ritalin every couple hours and go zing. So, man, now, like, the only drug I do now is caffeine. And, I've probably already had too much of it today. This is yerba mate that I'm drinking right here. But yeah, I think about that book, Karma Cola, because it really showed me that as much trouble as I was in being homeless in Korea, if I had gone to India, brother, there's a likelihood I never would have been heard from again. So there's a lot of trouble you can get into out there. You got to be careful.